Daredevil, Born Again Season 2, had its season finale last night, and it is now time for us to give our overall impressions of the series as a whole. I am going to let you guys know that we will probably, I just don't think there's a way for us to review the season without giving some spoilers. So I'm just going to let you guys know here right at the outset, we are probably going to be discussing some of the details of the season and of the finale. And if you absolutely don't want to know anything that happened in the finale until you have a chance to watch it, maybe come back and watch this video a little bit later. But you have been warned, okay? That down, let's go into it. From a broad point of view, I loved this season of Daredevil Born Again Season 2. I loved it. I really enjoyed Season 1. I think more than a lot of people did, but I really enjoyed it. But I think this season, in almost every way, surpassed it. The one thing that I would say Season 1 had that was a little bit better than in Season 2 was in Season 1, there wasn't a ton of it, but there was a little bit more joy. There were a couple episodes that just kind of made you feel good.
There was not a whole lot of joy in Season 2.
Not in Season 2. Like none of that, no happiness in Season 2 whatsoever. But other than that, I think Season 2 in just about every other conceivable way was an improvement over the last season. I just thought it was an absolute blast. And I had a great time with it. And, getting to see Kingpin being Kingpin again after what we saw him in Hawkeye as the infamous leader of the tracksuit mafia.
Bro.
And the Hawaiian shirts and all that great stuff. So we got into the finale, and it was a heavy, I think it's fair to say, dour kind of season. But we got into the finale last night. And first of all, let me say, kind of set up, I think, brilliantly by the events of the previous episode, where Buck takes out Soprano Jr., which is not what they originally planned or filmed.
Nope.
They filmed Buck letting him live. They changed their minds and then CG'd him shooting him because they changed their minds. And you know what? I actually think a more ballsy move. And I think it became more emotionally relevant as, BB keeps looking back at the pictures of her and him. And that it actually had some weight to it when they did that.
It was hardcore.
So it all comes crashing down in this massive courtroom standoff. Something She-Hulk maybe should take some notes about.
Or Joker too.
Or maybe Joker as well. So they get in there and basically Kingpin has his "you can't handle the truth" kind of moment on the stand.
Which is great.
Very reminiscent of that, as a matter of fact. I love the scene when Matt's in the judge's chambers and Kingpin is still out in the main court of the witness stand, and he knows full well Matt can hear him. "Matt, I'm more than happy to play this game. You are," and he's whispering under his voice, but he knows Matt can hear him. And then that moment, that scene when the crowds are trying to break into to get to Kingpin because he's basically holding the city hostage. He's like, "Open the doors!" And he goes out and goes full Hulk mode and just starts killing people, like left, right, and center, and all that kind of stuff. I don't think it was the best season finale, but it was good.
Yeah.
And it was satisfying. And the one thing that it left me scratching my head with about, when you consider everything they just proved him guilty of, including the governor showing up and saying, "You tried to assassinate me. We've got your assassin. You tried to assassinate me. You were weapons dealing. You killed our police chief. And then, on top of all that, you just killed about 40 people." Now, granted, he might be able to go into a court and claim self-defense in killing those 40 people, and he would have a legitimate defense on that. They were there to beat the crap out of him. But just the idea that at the end of it, he gets to go away. It ends with him on a beach. I thought that's a little bit odd. That's a weird choice, but it is what it is.
Collecting 20%.
Collecting 20%. So, but again, overall, I thought the season was fantastic. It did kind of miss Punisher a little bit. But then again, after the events of where we left off with Punisher at the end of season 1, it kind of makes sense that maybe he's gone off to do something. So there's that. I'll let that go. But yeah, I just thought it was great. Anyway, but a huge choice for him to reveal his identity. That's a genie you can now no longer put back in the bottle. For it almost feels like, well, that's the end of Daredevil, because now everybody knows who he is. You can't undo that unless Doctor Strange comes along and helps cast a spell, which I don't think they're going to do. By the way, Doctor Strange also lived up the street from the mayor's office. Where was he? Anyway, Rob, you watched the conclusion of Daredevil Born Again Season 2. What were your impressions of the season overall? And what did you think about the finale?
Look, I really liked this season. I thought the stakes, the way they amped up the stakes and everything that was going on in the city made it really interesting. You know, it felt like reading a Daredevil comic in the 80s, you know, the actual original Born Again storyline. It wasn't at all like that storyline, but it felt kind of that the way when Frank Miller came back and started writing Daredevil again. I liked all that. I liked his relationship with Karen. I really liked watching Kingpin get wound up. You know, how it started out. Like, you could see, like, okay, I'll try and do this mayor thing. You know, he was trying to, and I loved seeing how he was annoyed with photo ops and having to do all this stuff. And I love that scene where he's like, we're going to fix the streets.
Yeah.
You know, and how, well, that was in the first season. But I liked the whole thing with, you know, the boat and the CIA and the government being involved. And it was just, I really enjoyed watching all of that, like how Kingpin was being developed and his relationship with his wife and going to therapy, a little Sopranos action in there. And, you know, it was really interesting watching. Look, I felt that the whole season was compelling watching. I didn't know where it was going to go. I didn't know from week 1 to the next. It was not predictable to me where it was going, and I found that alone made it more interesting than I thought. Like, you know, when Matthew Lillard even showed up, or what happened to Vanessa, you know, and all this stuff. And I thought the ending was, in a way, it was all about justice and what was going to happen and how would this work out. And, you know, it was Matt Murdock using truth to win, as opposed to using a quote unquote win, as opposed to brute force. And I thought that was an interesting choice. I mean, I really liked everything that went on, and I found it did not insult my intelligence. I found it interesting and compelling viewing. And I thought the acting was top notch. I thought the production value was great. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Did I think it was all perfect? No. You know, there were certain things early on that I didn't think were dealt with as well as they could have been dealt with. But I thought it was really great stuff. And think about it. This was a Marvel show. And I thought that this showed that, along with Wonder Man, it showed that the MCU, I had not been impressed with much they'd put on TV. Now I think that they've moved into a better realm.
A higher state.
Yes. And I think, if nothing else, the 1-2 punch of Wonder Man and Daredevil shows that the MCU now, I'm excited about what they're going to do next on television.
Which we know what's next.
Which is the Punisher.
And that's the one shot, but then we got
Vision Quest.
Vision Quest.
Yeah, and I think Vision Quest will elevate even further what they're doing, because I think Vision Quest is going to surprise a lot of people. And I like that. I think Marvel is doing because I felt all their previous shows were sort of ill-conceived. They wanted to make them one thing, but none of them really worked. They just couldn't make it work.
I felt that way about a lot of them, but there are 3 of them I like.
Well, WandaVision, yes.
WandaVision, I loved Ms. Marvel.
I did too.
And I thought Agatha ended up being much better than it had any business being. But then you had a lot of the other ones.
You know, those are the 3 shows I felt the way they were conceived is how they were made.
Right.
You know, they succeeded. They didn't have to change things or mess around. Or those 3 shows felt like, hey, here's what we're going to make, and they succeeded. So
I want to tell you what my favorite moment, and I think this is going to surprise a lot of people. My favorite moment of the finale, and it had nothing to do with Kingpin, and had nothing to do with Bullseye, had nothing to do with Karen or Matt or the vigilante task force or anything. And it's actually the conclusion of something that has kind of been a weaker part of the season for me. Therapist girl with the Muse mask.
Oh.
Yeah, it just goes like...
has not hit great for me
Yeah.
through the season. I mean, I do like the idea about saying, like, this major traumatic event that she had has broke something in her. Okay?
Yeah.
I appreciate that. But there is a shot near the end of the episode that
Yep.
I thought was so good, which is, of course, she's sitting alone and she pulls out the Muse mask, but she finally puts it on. That's not the part that I loved. Like, okay, she's putting on, we all saw that somewhere she's going to put on the mask. But here's the part that I thought was next level stuff. She puts on the, understanding everything that's been said in the series up till now and everything she stood for and talks about and everything. She puts on the Muse mask and she looks in the mirror and she doesn't see herself with the Muse mask on. She sees herself the way she wants to see herself.
Yeah.
And I
That was
thought
great.
it was a quick moment, but I thought that is next level storytelling right there. Like, I thought that one shot was genius. I thought that was beautifully done. And all of a sudden in that one moment, like if you'd asked me 5 minutes earlier, am I looking forward to seeing that character return in Daredevil season 3? Yeah, I could give or take. After that shot, I'm like, yes. Yep. Now I want to see more of her. And you know, even you see that coming around, the manifestation of it, like when the AG is saying, why don't you and I get out of here? And she like chops him in the throat.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, here we go. By the way, I didn't notice. Maybe I blinked. Did Buck make it out? I know he was wounded, but I don't remember. I can't remember if there was any kind of indication.
I want to say he did, but
I want to say he did too, but I'm like, maybe I missed it. Yeah, people are saying he did make it. Okay,
Yeah.
so like, I really like the Buck character. I think killing Soprano Jr. and being, I think all that's just going to make him even more interesting.
you know what though? I expected young Tony to die.
I didn't. I
Yeah,
really
I
didn't,
did.
especially with the way that he had been kind of evolving and the way him and Buck were starting to get close. I really didn't expect him to die. I knew it was a possibility, but I will admit it caught me by surprise when he pulled the trigger and killed him. So anyway, guys,
I mean, I might have walked into that room with Buck holding a knife in my pocket or something. Like maybe I wouldn't have sacrificed myself so easily like he did.
here's what I think about him. I think he just knew if he let BB go, there's nowhere he could run and there was nothing he could do. They were going to get him, right? And that's why I think he just accepted it and walked into the room. He just knew. I mean, like, I could run, but that's not going to do me any good. They're going to catch up with me. And so that's probably why he did what he did. I'm just speculating here. But anyway, guys, question is for you. What did you think about Daredevil Born Again Season 2? I loved it. Again, I agree with her. It's not perfect. I had some nitpicks here and there. I don't think it's the best thing Marvel's done. I still think WandaVision holds that crown, but I thought it was really good, and I had a great time with it. What did you think about it overall? Whatever you guys think, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thought. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching this video. Make sure you like the video, leave a comment, and subscribe to our channel. And don't forget, we have a daily podcast called the John Campea Show Podcast, available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcasting app of choice. Go and subscribe to it today so it'll be there when you need it.